guys, this is RuRoniK95 here, and it's time for a video that I haven't thought of doing one like this one before because, well, why not? Because I haven't thought of doing a video like this one, which I probably haven't thought of doing one before, which I have never heard or thought of doing one like this, which I should have done until now. Today, we're going to be talking about the home video format. Look at this one particularly, and I'm going to be talking about these are the kind of the home video formats on here, which I like to have here. Was what I like to do is this one is what I'm going to be doing are most significantly the home video format that I'm going to be talking about is something that you have never actually seen those before, maybe at a thrift store, flea markets, or even the ones that were maybe at a book sale at your local library, or even the ones that were donated to the library. But you just don't know by the title, or if it's name, or if you have seen it. But you just don't know what you realize what it was, or you don't know what you expected. Either if it's a movie, a tokusatsu show, or a Japanese anime, or a cartoon on the VCD format as well. Or if you've seen it and you recognize the title, then congratulations. Now you own it as well, particularly as well. So, I'm going to be talking about this new kind of home video format that I have never done one like this. What I'm going to talk about are video CDs, or VCDs for short, as well. After the creation on the CDs, as well as Laserdiscs, Philips introduced this type of home video format in the 90s called VCDs, which is basically a short acronym for video CDs, which basically these are the ones that hold up to 700 megabytes that would watch your typical video on the home video format, especially for these picture and sound quality on this, as from what I expected particularly. Well, they're basically how they were been introduced as well, how they were gotten to the whole thing for how I wanted to come across for how sorry, I'm a little tired. So for the thing about how I can talk about the VCDs is that these are the ones that were particularly that has no extra features on here. There's no menus or the audio setup options on here, but it just basically like you're fitting an hour film. Especially, they were basically ripped straight from these VHS or Laserdisc releases on here, and then they slapped it on the video CD label thing as well. I mean, this particularly of how they could come across for this. And then of course back then when they were first came were VCDs, then came DVDs for the obvious reason of that, from what I'm saying of my whereabout as well. And at this point of that, they stopped having VCDs once the DVDs came out in the late 90s. Despite that, DVDs have been the better success than the VCDs had. Especially if you ever watching an hour film on a VCD, it would particularly be in a double disc set. Especially if you're watching a movie that is hour long, that would have to be on a 2-disc VCD set as well. Or if you're watching a TV series, then that will be having 2 episodes per VCD discs on there as well. unlike most DVD releases on the movies, especially if you're watching a movie on a Laserdisc, then that would be on a double-sided flipper disc, a double-sided disc on the Laserdisc as well, accordingly. And I must say is that this is how it got to be as well. But then, of course, despite that, VCDs and were unsuccessful in the U.S., particularly after Philip, when they were not a success. Well, they had to be completely forgotten due to the fact that DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4K Ultra HDs have gotten a better success as well. However, there are some countries that VCDs are better achieved for a better success, especially in Asia. Aside from Japan or South Korea, VCDs are commonly known in China, as well as, most significantly, in Hong Kong, due to the fact that VCDs are a little less pricier than the DVDs were, and some of them were released on these regular jewel cases on there. Well, there are many obvious ones. Aside from how, despite that the VCDs are very commonly known and popular in Asia, as far as I know, of how I can come across for how I wanted to come by for this as well. However, there are some VCDs in other countries on here, such as the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and Sweden, the Philippines, and Taiwan, as well as Thailand as well. Yeah. No, I'm not kidding, am I right as well? Particularly of how mostly some VCDs that are commonly known outside in China. Well, there are many obvious, like, there's some VCDs, particularly in the United Kingdom, especially for the movies on here. There's still some in the Philippines as well. No, I'm not kidding, am I right as well? Well, there's some as well. It's more different than despite how, just to consider, VCDs are popular in China, as well as Taiwan and Hong Kong as well. Let's say, take for example of how VCDs on here. Let's say, for example, like I have this copy of Kung Fu The Legend Continues, the DVD burn-on DVD disc that has the two-part episode. Initiation is basically how it has the to be continued on here, which is more different than the VCD copy of the same episode, where they made it as a condensed movie cut version, but they have to slap it with the title as Kung Fu: A Legend Reborn, which is basically a movie edited version, condensed version of Initiation Part 1 and 2 of Kung Fu: The Legend Continues TV series, which is slapped on with a VCD copy of this as well. No, I'm not. Shit, am I right as well? Well, I have got this on eBay back in 2007. I thought this was supposed to be like some Chinese bootleg, or is it the Philips VCD release from the 90s? But no, this is actually part of Warner Home Video Philippines, which I didn't know it was from the Philippines, because technically, though, is that this is a 2-disc VCD release, especially if it's an hour or film format, which is slapped on with a 2-disc on here. Like, you're watching the first half on disc 1, and then you watch the second half of it on disc 2. Especially for what video CDs had a lot to do for this one as well. However, unlike my other DVD of Kung Fu The Legend Continues that I shown you earlier, which is actually like a burned-on DVD disc on here, where they slap it with the TV logo on the, which are basically ripped straight from these VHS rips of how they were taped off TV. And then they slapped it with a DVD, with a TV logo on a burned-on DVD disc on here, which I'll get to cover at this point in the nearest future about DVDs on here that are ripped straight from television when it's slapped on with the TV logo. Which I'll get back to in the future once I get ideas for that. But anyways, back to VCDs as well. VCDs are how particularly always got the format as well. Still, this is not the same looking video format on the video CD that I have ever noticed that I have seen on there. Well, there are most older game systems that allow to let you play VCDs on here, especially on these older game systems like Sega Genesis or the older model PlayStation 1 game consoles, as well as PlayStation 2, the older model ones. Some of them can let you play on those VCDs on here, which they're basically these older model systems on there. Same goes with these older model DVD players. There's that allow you to play VCDs on there. That's how I can come across for this as well. Accordingly, from what I understand why as well. Newer model DVD or Blu-ray players will not let you play VCDs on there due to having the MPEG-1 option on there. However, you could watch them on your computer, especially if you have a desktop or a laptop, especially that has a, I believe it was the video player on that one, especially if you're watching it on there. And also, you can watch a VCD on your portable DVD player as well, accordingly as well. Well, there are many obvious ones that you can watch them on the computer at your local library, especially if you're in the tech center room at the library where they have those computers there. Yeah, this has gotten to the thing though. Yeah, that's basically the way. However, other game consoles like PlayStation 4 or PS5s will not play VCDs. Same goes with PS3s, will not play VCDs either. Unlike older model game systems that allow you to play VCDs on there, as how I can come by for this as well, accordingly of how I can understand for the fact as well. Because I have some anime on there, especially on the VCDs on here. Some of those on the VCDs on here, that ranges from on here of how some of them were basically on these VCD releases that are dubbed in Mandarin or in Cantonese with like these Cantonese subtitles on there, especially the ones that are ripped straight from the official releases on there. However, there's some Japanese releases of anime on VCDs that are mainly in Japanese, but with no subtitles, especially if you're watching an anime that is in raw Japanese with no subtitles. There are some other anime on VCDs that are also in the, I believe it was having the options, if you ever watch it, between either in Chinese or in its original Japanese, but it only shows you the Chinese subtitles. The same kind, but only in Chinese language dub, but with hard-coded English subtitles. Quick disclaimer on this as well. There's some anime on the VCDs on here that allow to watch them on there. Because I know there's some that have these Japanese dubs on here. or if you watch it in mono or stereo on the VCDs on here, from the ones that look how it's more different, and there's other options on the of a certain anime on the VCD release that lets you watch it either in like has on the flipper or side of the VCD disc on here, like if you watch it in its original Japanese with the Chinese subtitles, or in its solely in Chinese without any subtitles, accordingly as well. So most of the for technically though is that some of them, very particularly of how they range from regular jewel cases to double disc jewel cases, cardboard box sets, slip cases over cases, cases where the art is vertical, and on the other side, other cases that look like these DVD release style DVD cases style, but almost as twice as more different than the size of your typical VC, almost as the size as a DVD, more different than a DVD case size on there, which this could also fit in your bookcase, especially if you have the Billy bookcases from IKEA. And this one, that almost particularly is more bigger than the DVD cases on these box set ones on there, which because I thought the makers of which I had to admit, some of them looks pretty sturdy as well. That's how I can come by for these as well, especially the ones that look like these giant rectangular box set, which I think which it will not be fitting in your Billy bookcases, but it only can be fit in your Kallax bookcase from IKEA. You know, the cube-shaped bookcases from IKEA, they're called the Kallax shelf as well. Oh, figure that one out as well. Because I have owned a small amount of anime on the VCD format as well. Particularly, if this was like my Pokemon VCD I have right here. No shit, am I right as well? Because this particularly has the original Japanese theme song intro on there, which is only in its original Japanese, which it was never available in the English releases from Viz Media on the DVD, which I admit it was basically was quite pretty sticky to be added in those US DVD or Blu-ray releases without the Japanese dub. Figure this one out as well. Quick disclaimer for this as well. Some of them, particularly of how that ranges from like the look like from regular releases to some which I'm pretty sure that those were ripped straight from like these official DVD releases and slapped on with a print label. And these are your typical anime on the VCDs that you could find them on eBay or at the occasional thrift stores or flea markets, or even at a book sale at your local library, or especially or even if the ones that were donated to the library, that you can buy them for like $1 or less, or $2 or less as well. Figure this one particularly. Yeah, especially the ones that were donated to the library as well. Because despite how, quick disclaimer, particularly of how I want to come by for just a considered video CDs is basically popular in Asia, is that I had to admit, and I just want to know what was going through my mind in case of how particularly of how you expect. Well, there are many obvious anime titles on the VCD format. You could find them like something like yesasia.com or whatever that was. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them on there, which it does remind me, I really got to get back and to do a discussion about the anime on the VCD guide, or whenever I can do my anime on VCD collection once I get more of them as well at this point. Especially the ones that, like those cases that almost look like a DVD cases on there, whenever I can come by. Well, there's some of them that are in like these CD jewel cases, whether it's a single jewel cases or a double disc jewel cases. There's cardboard box set ones, slip cases over cases, kind of like a DVD style. Some of them are vertical as well. Some of them are available in these like cardboard plastic cases, which they're pretty sturdy as well, as from what I understand. Well, there are many obvious foreign bootlegs. There's most of the movies that are also in the VCD format as well. Like, many Hollywood studios allow Asian home video distributions releasing the films on the VCD format as well. Particularly of how, especially if you can find them in the continent as well. If only if this was like how I can come by as well. Yeah, they're particularly of how VCDs are basically popular in Asia as well. It doesn't mean I can read or nor speak any of the dialects as well. No, it's just particularly I can recognize the name of the title or by the image as well, especially on the anime titles on here. Like this one I have like my Pokemon VCD and, well, Flower Angel Loon on VCD. If you don't believe me, this is the one. Of course I own this. This was my lucky find when I found this for like $2 at a library, because this was donated to the library, and I didn't know that this is actually a Chinese VCD set. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that's basically ripped straight on like a bootleg as well. If only if this was like how you could find them on eBay or Facebook marketplaces or thrift stores, flea markets, as well as Goodwill stores. Let's not forget about those as well. Am I right as well? Yeah, because, well, there's a whole bunch of anime on the VCDs out there, and they're perfectly gloriously how they're basically bootleg rips, how they're slapping it on the VCDs as well. Yeah. There are obvious ones as well. Well, there's some anime on VCD in the UK, especially the ones from Manga Video UK. Like, there's some of them, yeah, that are in English on... Well, there's most anime movies that are dubbed in English in the UK on VCD. Manga Video UK is one of them. Same goes with Keiseki Films as well. Euro Keiseki Films, particularly. And this is something you could expect if it's... It doesn't matter if the VCDs are either in the Netherlands, Ireland, Australia, as well. I'm not sure if Italy has VCDs. Well, technically though, VCDs some of them were available in the United Kingdom, especially on the home video format as well. Yeah, because I have wanted to discover things of that as well. Yeah, this is how I wanted to come by for a thing of how I have been wanting to discover this home video format like VCDs, as how you would expect for this, particularly as how from what I'm saying about as well. Yeah, there's also, well, there are many obvious VCDs on here. Some of them are also in Taiwan, like especially for what the VCDs are. Despite that, these are the ones as well, if I'm not mistaken as well. If I could know for this as well. Yeah, which it does remind me, I really got to get back into collecting the VCDs of anime if I could find more of them. There's a whole bunch of them on VCDs as well. Despite that, the VCDs are popular in Asia, especially in China, as well as Taiwan, and most likely Thailand, and also Turkish as well. Hey, the anime Toshi Gordian did got a VCD release in Turkey on it when it was on a Turkish VCD release on here, when it's dubbed in Turkish dub on here, but where they slapped it with a Italian theme song on there, which you could tell that there are many obvious bootlegs, how they're slapped on with a video CD as well. Because this is how I wanted to come by for how I wanted to discover this home video format that I wanted to discover for this accordingly. That's the thing. Yeah, because DVDs, and despite that DVD, just to consider that DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4K Ultra HDs have more better success than VCDs has, despite VCDs are more popular in Asia than it has with the US when they were originally introduced by Philips in the 90s as well, accordingly of how I can come by for this as well. So that's going to be it for my video here for today, you guys. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's what I'm going to say for this video. This is the first time I wanted to talk about the home video discovery, where I wanted to talk about video CDs, also known for short as VCDs, because they're popular in Asia, especially for what I want to discover, especially the ones that I have for the collecting purposes. Especially, well, there's a whole bunch of them of anime on the VCDs on here. You know, the ones that I saw at a library. Some of them can be for like $1 or less, especially you can find them at your local library, especially the ones that were donated as well. Hope to subscribe for content. Anime Planet Patreon link will be in the description down below if you want to check out my as well. And also, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. What do you think of the VCDs? Just let me know in the comments section below if you like. And also, be sure to smack the like button if you enjoyed the video. Click on the subscribe button. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, RurouniK95. Be sure to click on the subscribe button. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, RurouniK95. Feel free to join my channel, especially if you're new to my channel as a newcomer. If you're watching the channel, well, especially because I'm starting getting into the Blu-rays and DVDs. That's why, in case you're wondering as well. And also, smack the notifications bell button. Be sure to get notified also as well for more latest updates, just to keep you noted, just to keep you aware for this one as well, because this is the first time I wanted to do a video where I can talk about the home video format, especially called VCDs. That's the thing, particularly, of how I wanted to come by for this as well, just to keep you aware of this, as to let you know as how I can want to do this. Maybe I can want to discover why of how I wanted to talk about the VCDs. That's why. that's the thing of how I want to do this. Because I know what you're thinking. I see you got the VCDs. I mean, what about the DVDs and Blu-rays? Like, do you ever buy the DVDs and Blu-rays, or do you just buy the VCDs? Oh, I do buy the DVDs and Blu-rays. Because I have a ton of DVDs and Blu-rays. Because I do have a lot of them on DVD and Blu-rays than I had with VHS tapes as well. Accordingly as well. Just to let you know, that's why. So this is going to be it for today. This is Rurouni K95 saying thank you for watching my video, and I'm glad you liked it. Hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you soon for the next video. Hope you have a great day, because tomorrow's the new year. This is Rurouni K95 signing off, and thank you for watching my video, and I will see you soon for more videos. Take care. Bye.